Can you detail when and how all these negotiations with to invest in Benfica began?
Yeah, I would say it's quite lucky the way it happened, although luck isn't something I feel is maybe the best descriptor over the last few days. But I have an investment banker up in London. He's been helping me research the world sort of football community for some time. And I made a phone call to him when talking about a team in England. I heard music in the background. I thought it pretty funny because it must have been 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said, well, Laurie, what are you doing in a bar at 4 in the afternoon? And he said, well, I'm hiding from one of the largest shareholders of Benfica.
Laurie is the person in the investment bank.
He's Laurie Pinto, an investment banker that I've consulted with quite a bit, knows a great deal about football. And he introduced me to the idea. He says, well, I'm hiding from the shareholder of Benfica. He said that as a joke. His investor, somebody was before me, had not shown up for 2 days. And apparently the deal was falling through. And I asked about it. When he told me about it, of course, knowing Benfica, just didn't think anything like this was within the realm of possibility. So I asked him if I could take a look at it. And the alternative, that was probably, I think, in mid to late May, my first conversation about it.
So, and you were searching for an investment in soccer?
Well, I knew I'd make an investment. I was looking for the right combinations of partnerships because I think there's a lot to be gained in collaboration between countries and clubs. I, in particular, have been looking for something that's both club and community. The words I wrote in my statement were not from a speechwriter. In my first statement on my website about why I wanted to do this and how my life has evolved, I really was looking for that connection between club and community. And you know, I mean, my goodness, Benfica has that for, you know, a century. So
when Laurie mentioned this opportunity in Benfica, you made your mind about this investment?
Not immediately. It seemed too big. You know, it's like buying Barcelona or buying into Barcelona. And he contacted me a couple weeks later and he said, look, John, if you really do want to express an interest, I need you to write me an email that I can share with Mr. Santos. So very quickly I wrote an email. It was just not my interest, but I started pouring myself into this email, and it was more than just a letter of interest. It was my ideas for the club, the future of the club. A couple of things I said in particular were interesting because within a couple of hours after sending that email, he says, well, John, this is perfect. He sent me a video that Benfica had prepared on their international expansion. And they talked about, you know, the United States market and the China market, both areas where I've done a lot of business. And some of the ideas I expressed in the email matched almost exactly the expressed plan of Benfica, growing through academies. And academies in the United States are more profitable for clubs than professional teams are. There's more for a club like Benfica to be made in education than there is even in selling tickets. So I think my email he shared with Mr. Santos, it matched perfectly what seemed to be the strategy of Benfica.